Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Steve McCorkle, and I am a class coordinator for the 310th Basic Training class. I'm also a senior instructor of police here at KLETC. At this time, I ask that you join me in welcoming today's graduates, the 310th Basic Training class. Members of the 310th Basic Training class, and ladies and gentlemen, please rise or remain standing and direct your attention to the Johnson County Sheriff's Department Color Guard for the presentation of the colors and the playing of our national anthem. Colors, post. Present arms. You may be seated. During your time at KLETC, you have all walked past the Wall of Honor numerous times. The Wall of Honor was designated as a reminder of those KLETC graduates who have died in the line of duty. The names and photos of the 28 individuals memorialized preserve their memories and give family, friends, and law enforcement officers the opportunity to remember those that made the ultimate sacrifice in service to the citizens of Kansas. At this time, please join with me in observing a moment of silence to honor those 28 KLETC graduates who are no longer with us. Thank you. Members of the 310th, it's just by luck of the draw that I was assigned to be your class coordinator over the last 14 weeks. When I was first assigned to this class, I had no idea just how much of an education I was going to get right along with you. From the first day I met each of you in classroom 1 till today, I have been your greatest supporter and your most ardent cheerleader. From our highs as a class to our challenges as a class, each of you have kept your integrity intact and taken your oath of office to heart. I am proud of every one of you. As I have told you, my expectations for police officers is not set by test scores or heroic deeds, but by one question. Am I willing to get in a patrol car with you and go out as your partner? All of you now have the foundational knowledge, skills, and abilities to be exceptional law enforcement officers. And to each of you I say, let's roll, partner. On behalf of the KLETC administration and staff, congratulations on completing basic training. It is my pleasure to introduce today's commencement speaker, Sheriff David Folletti from the Cowley County Sheriff's Department. David Folletti started his law enforcement career in 1996 with the Riley County Police Department in Manhattan, Kansas, after serving with the United States Army. He was initially assigned as a patrol officer for this county-wide law enforcement agency and was later promoted to detective in the investigation division. As a detective, Sheriff Folletti investigated numerous cases which mainly focused on juvenile victim crimes. After obtaining his bachelor's degree in public administration from Upper Iowa University, Sheriff Folletti was hired in 2001 by the Kansas Bureau of Investigations and then stationed in Liberal, Kansas, covering a 6-county area in 2004. He was transferred to the Wichita region and covered Cowley, Butler, and Sumner counties in lower south central Kansas. In 2013, Sheriff Folletti obtained his master's degree in criminal justice from Wichita State University. In his capacity with the KBI, Sheriff Folletti worked on numerous cases involving homicide, officer-involved shootings, child abuse, public corruption, and financial crimes. Along with his other duties, Sheriff Folletti also served as a firearms instructor, a Glock armorer, and is a past Region 7 governor for the Kansas Peace Officers Association. In January of 2017, he was sworn in as sheriff of Cowley County, Kansas. The Cowley County Sheriff's Office has 32 sworn deputies, 27 corrections officers, as well as 3 civilian staff for the office. Sheriff Folletti currently serves on the board of directors for the Kansas Sheriff's Association and is vice chair for the Kansas Accreditation Council, amongst several other boards and advisory committees. Sheriff Folletti values continued education and currently serves as an adjunct instructor for Cowley College in Arkansas City, Kansas. Ladies and gentlemen, Sheriff David Folletti.
Good afternoon. Darren Beck, your director of KLETC. Appreciate you guys for having me here. Ron Gold, I've worked with a lot of these folks over the years. A lot of those in the crowd I've worked cases with over the years. Graduates, KLET staff, family, and friends. I'm honored and humbled to be given the opportunity to speak here at the 310th Kansas Law Enforcement Training Center graduation. The graduates have completed a monumental task to start their career in law enforcement. You have entered what I consider to be a very noble profession. These graduates have spent 14 weeks to learn the basics of being a Kansas law enforcement officer and will likely face additional time back at their agency in a field training program. They'll be required to continue that education throughout their career with a minimum of 40 hours each year in training. As you start your career, always remember that this profession, the job of a law enforcement officer, can be a daunting one, filled with many highs and lows. You will be tested. You will see and hear things that most individuals will never see. You'll see individuals at the lowest point in their lives and be there to lift them up and give them a safe harbor away from the issues of the day. Your days will be filled with what you deem to be menial tasks, such as stopping to help change a tire, and some days you'll be responding to calls and not have time to even grab lunch. You'll go from a suicide where you've had to deliver the terrible news of a lost loved one to a simple report of found property. Each case is important, and each victim, theirs is the most important to them at that time. They do not know what you have dealt with recently, and we do not expect them to. I tell my staff the story of a flower pot. An elderly lady called the sheriff's office reporting that her prized flower pot had been stolen off of her porch. To most, a flower pot means little and could easily be replaced. But to that person, that flower pot had meaning. This may be the first time that she has ever called for law enforcement assistance. So no matter what we dealt with before that call, we must make her feel like that flower pot means a lot and give her the dignity and respect she deserves. Take that report and treat her like she is the victim of something much larger, for that flower pot was important to her, and the care and time that we give her will leave a lasting impact not only on you, your agency, but all of us in law enforcement. One day I was actually out of town and my undersheriff called me and said, "Hey, Sheriff, the flower pot thing happened." So it does happen. My humble advice to you, be professional in all things you do. This is more important now in law enforcement than it ever has been. As we have witnessed in this country, one bad incident can cause turmoil and distrust with the public. Being professional not only means being kind, but also remember what you and your badge represent. Secondly, always be honest. I cannot count how many times a law enforcement officer has lost their job because they lied about something minor. Most things can be fixed. Some you may get some days off. We can't promise you that won't happen. Or you may get additional training. But you will never recover from lying. This goes for reports as well as search warrants. I know y'all have practiced doing affidavits for search warrants in your training. And sometimes it's easy to kind of make things seem a little better than they are. But never stretch your probable cause. Just speak the truth. Once a judge identifies you as someone who is not completely honest, they will remember you. And just like we all talk about other people in our agencies, judges talk too, and you will have a difficult time recovering from that stigma. I had a platoon sergeant while in the Army always told us that integrity is not for sale, and I have tried to live that standard my whole life. Third, you each will bring a different perspective to your job, but always remember, although it is a profession, it is still a job. Take time for friends, and most importantly, your family. As you can see, your family and friends have joined us here today. It is a great opportunity to see them graduate and finish your 14 weeks of training here at the Kansas Law Enforcement Training School. Don't stay in cop mode all the time. You know those guys that go home, watch cops, they get up and they watch more cop shows, and then they listen to the scanner all day long, and then they go to work. You can't live it every day of your life. My wife, Carrie, still gives me a hard time about picking the seat at the back of the restaurant so I can view absolutely everything. As we've gotten older, we've been married about 30 years now, she rushes to that seat so that all my attention is strictly on her. You will miss important dates. but be there when you can. Take time to coach your children in sports. Work with your church groups or stop by their school and have lunch. Don't let this career become your whole life. Enjoy each day. Also, try to make friends with civilians. They also often keep us in check away from that cop mentality. In closing, as you go about your duties as a law enforcement officer, always remember that not everything is clear cut. Yes, statute requires us to make arrests in certain situations, but we have a lot of discretion. So practice compassion and remember that we are all human and need to lift up from time to time. An example I give my deputies: if you stop a single mother for not having her child in a car seat, there may be a bigger picture there. Instead of writing just a citation, maybe it's time for you to practice that compassion and help her find a car seat. Thank you again for having me as your speaker. You know, we hear a lot of negatives about youth and in our communities, but from what I can see here in this room, we are in good hands. I have no doubt that you will represent yourself and your agency and the state of Kansas well. So be safe, enjoy your accomplishments that you have made, and enjoy the noble career in law enforcement that you have chosen. Thank you.
Sheriff Folletti, on behalf of the 310th Basic Training Class, we'd like to give you a token of our appreciation for taking time out of your busy day and sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you. At KLETC, we recognize student officers who have excelled in fitness during their basic training. Fitness being a key component of an officer's life, it helps them deal with daily stress that they'll face and aids them in maintaining a healthier lifestyle and enabling them to better mitigate the dangers that they may encounter. During their time here at KLETC, all members of the 310th were active and engaged in a fitness routine. 2 student officers met the goals of the 200-mile club to be recognized as a member of the 200-mile club. The student must have completed 30 push-ups in a minute, 30 sit-ups in a minute, and run 1.5 miles in 18 minutes or less. Additionally, they also must have logged 200 miles or more outside of their classroom activities. Officers, when I call your name, please stand and be recognized. Officer Rachel Grimm of the Prairie Band Potawatomi Tribal Police Department, and Deputy Haas of the Gove County Sheriff's Department. Please join me in recognizing them. You may be seated. Officer Grimm of the Prairie Band Potawatomi Tribe Police Department, please join me here at the podium. During the 200-mile challenge, Officer Grimm completed the most miles, along with exceeding the other physical requirements of the 200-mile club. And in addition, she was determined through testing to be the most improved in fitness throughout her time here at KLETC. For her efforts, Officer Grimm is being awarded the Fitness Medal. Please join me in recognizing her accomplishment. You can be seated. Oh. It's now time for the class president to deliver a few brief remarks on behalf of the graduating class. Ladies and gentlemen, the 310th Basic Training Class President, Deputy Michaela Mosqueda from the Cowley County Sheriff's Department.
Welcome, family, friends, and coworkers to the graduation of the 310th Basic Training Class. To all of the families here today, thank you for supporting us the last 14 weeks and holding down the fort while we've been away. Whether it be children, pets, or just taking care of things at home, I know it's been tough, and we all appreciate everything you've done. To our coworkers, sheriffs, and chiefs, we hope to make you proud and be a valuable addition to the law enforcement profession. The most important lesson I've learned from the police academy is finding your why. Your why is bigger than being motivated. Motivation is there for you when things are good, but it leaves you high and dry when things get tough. If you're just motivated for this career, you're wrong. Drive, however, is forever. Your drive is your why. Drive is burned into your psyche. It is the reason you get out of bed every morning, and it's the reason you're here today, after 14 challenging weeks, standing proud and successful. By now, many of us know what drives us, and if you don't, it's imperative that you find it. Whatever your goals are, you will need to challenge your why to achieve them. Appreciate and embrace your why, because there may be a time when it's all that you have. We will all face challenges in our careers as law enforcement officers. Without your why, you will succumb to these obstacles. My why is painful. My dad died in a car crash April 24th, 2019, when a cab driver out of Wichita veered into my dad's lane, striking his vehicle. My dad died before he was able to be transported. My dad died before he could see me graduate high school, before he could see me off to Army basic training, and before he could meet my husband or his grandson. The pain of losing him this way will follow me for the rest of my life. There was a time when I was completely consumed by it. Thankfully, the Army taught me how to use this as motivation, how to channel the anger towards building something more constructive. But this was just one piece of the puzzle. It wasn't until I began this journey into law enforcement that I learned how to be driven by it. I'm here with you today because I want to make my father proud. I'm here because I'm throwing myself into the fire, and I am driven to do absolutely everything in my power to keep others safe from tragedy. That is my why. Another concept I learned here that will stick with me throughout my career is fail forward. They had said this to us pretty early on in the academy, and I didn't fully understand the significance of it until we had our third benchmark test. I did the wrong thing on the scenario. I knew I couldn't take it back. There are no do-overs. I got a 0% and failed. I had instructor Tareen in there with me, and he told me I needed to shake it off, but remember this feeling, and don't let yourself feel this way again. He said, this is what we mean when we tell you guys to fail forward. The rest of that day was awful, not gonna lie, but I went to my last practical of the day and did really well. I started to understand at that time what they meant by fail forward. So thank you, Mr. Tareen, for helping me get through that. To quote Rocky Balboa, it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. In other words, it's okay to fail, but it's never okay to give up. You can lose the battle as long as you keep striving to win the war. And ultimately, this determination and stick-to-itiveness comes from your why. Just as important as the lessons we've learned are the relationships and memories that we've formed along the way. The 310th Basic Training Class is a very unique group of individuals. That's a nice way of saying this class is full of a bunch of goofballs. We were always joking around, not only with each other, but with the instructors as well, and that's what made our academy so enjoyable. Our class consists of 23 graduates, 10 city police officers, 9 county deputies, 2 Kansas Department Wildlife and Parks officers, 1 tribal police officer, and 1 public schools officer. Though we come from various counties, cities, and departments, we all have one thing in common: the desire to help people and make our jurisdictions a safer place to be. So after 14 long weeks here in Yoder, Kansas, we finally get to say goodbye to KLETC and re-enter the real world. Thank you to all of our instructors who have guided us through the academy and pushed us to do better. We couldn't have done any of this without you, and we appreciate everything. Thank you to the administrative staff and Mrs. Carmichael. This place wouldn't run without you. Also, a big thank you to the kitchen staff for always feeding us all 5 classes, which is about 120 people, and to the maintenance staff for always cleaning up after us. Lastly, thank you to my classmates for making this academy so memorable. I wish you nothing but the best with your careers in law enforcement, And thank you all again for being here to celebrate, and have a great rest of your day.
Deputy Mosqueda, for being the class president of the 310th class, we'd like to present you with this plaque as a memory of the job that you performed here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me take that picture. In law enforcement, ethics is at the forefront of training and our profession. The law enforcement oath of office affirmation is a constant reminder of that the law enforcement officer assumes a great responsibility when they affirm the oath of the office. They have entered into a position of being role models, leading by example, and they're enforcers of the law and protectors of our communities. I'll now ask Class President Deputy Mosqueda to lead the class in reciting the law enforcement oath of office affirmation.
On my honor,
I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. I will always uphold the Constitution of the United States, state of Kansas, my community, and the agency I serve.
recover.
Class 310. In a few moments, you'll be presented with a challenge coin. A challenge coin is symbolic and meaningful and given to someone as a reminder of what they have done or to confirm membership in an organization. This coin today will recognize you as graduates of KLETC. I ask that you carry it with you as a reminder of the lessons you've learned and the friendships you've forged during your time here at KLETC. On the back of this coin is the oath that each of you just affirmed. Carry it with you and let it be a constant reminder of the true fact of always do the right thing. Graduates, it's been my honor and distinct pleasure to be your class coordinator and a small part of your journey. I wish you nothing but success and happiness in the future. I will now ask KLETC Associate Director of Basic Training, Alvin Sowers, to join me on the stage to present the members of the 310th Basic Training class with their certificates, while I present each one of you with a KLETC challenge coin. Class President, Deputy Mosqueda, will announce the names.
Front row, please stand. Marvin Avila, Geary County Sheriff's Office. Mitchell Baker, Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools Police Department. Mark Baugh, Holton Police Department. Timothy Bonham, Lewisburg Police Department. Kristen Brown, Junction City Police Department. Ashley Cardenas, Geary County Sheriff's Office. Devin Crawford, Osborne Police Department. Front row, please return to your seats. You may be seated. Second row, please stand. Dale Ann Fanning, Wellsville Police Department. Trace Goodwin, Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks. Rachel Grimm, Prairie Band Potawatomi Tribal Police. Mike Hossey, Gove County Sheriff's Department. Brent Hoover, Colby Police Department. Bailey Kennedy, Washington County Sheriff's Department. David King, McPherson County Sheriff's Department. Garrett Crum, Miami County Sheriff's Department. Second row, please return to your seats. Please be seated. Third row, please stand. Jose Martinez Chavez, Jackson County Sheriff's Department. Gage Myers, Larned Police Department. Dexter Nelson, Emporia Police Department. Brian Sherpon, Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks. Robert Taylor, Valley Falls Police Department. Brett Thompson, Barton County Sheriff's Department. Christian Walls, Newton Police Department.
And Michaela Mosqueda, Cowley County Sheriff's Department. Third row, please return to your seats. Third row, please be seated. In a few moments, ladies and gentlemen, I'll certify these officers for the state of Kansas, but I want to thank each and every family member who's come here. Something that we haven't probably shared much in graduation. You heard the graduation president or the speaker here talk about 5 classes. There are 4 other classes in class today, wishing they were here today. We do classes every 3 weeks. We start a class every 3 weeks now. So thank you to all the administrators that come, and we truly appreciate that. So class 310, would you please stand? On behalf of Director Beck, I hereby certify that each of you have completed the requirements to be certified law enforcement officers in the state of Kansas. And for the words they've been waiting 14 weeks for, class dismissed.